words. Do you know any?
I guess abracadabra.
Always works. Now
How do you
let's see what happened. There, I think something has
You
happened.
can't fix this.
It's completely
It's all shiny.
all shiny now.
There you go. So we can compare and contrast actually by picking up one of the dirty brown pennies that we have here.
This one.
Yes, and there we can see the difference.
There is a difference.
Yes. So what actually happens here with when pennies come out from the mint, they're as shiny as these ones are. This was the 2012 penny that was in the last mintage at Winnipeg, and over time dirt accumulates on the pennies as we touch it. But more importantly, oxygen from the air creates a reaction with the copper in the pennies, and so it creates copper oxide, which gives it this brown color. And so if a person takes lemon, which is really our penny magic juice here, and you squeeze a lemon, put in half teaspoon of salt, just give it a quick shake, and just drop the pennies for as little time as we did here. Just in a jiffy, we have shiny pennies again because the acid removes the copper oxide.
Right. I guess we should say first off that Susan did that trick because she is actually an author about pennies, right, Susan?
Yes.
Tell us about your books.
Well, actually, that trick is contained right here on this page in my children's book, and I have 15 other penny tricks and fun activities in my children's book, and I have 30 of them in the adult book, which is called Little Copper Pennies, Celebrating the Life of the Canadian 1 cent piece, and it's a collection of short stories about the penny based on interviews I did with people who had known the once upon a time value of a penny, people who had an opinion even now about the penny not being very good or should be kept around. So there's just a range of opinions and subjects and stories, but it's very creatively told, and both books have been doing quite well. They're in the provinces from coast to coast, in numerous libraries, bookstores, and in schools.
Right. I think the question that some people might have is, why pennies? You know, some people just think, oh, whatever, throw this penny on the ground, it doesn't matter, that sort of thing. So why did you decide to write about the Canadian penny?
Well, when I heard that the penny was retiring, I thought, if the penny could speak, what would it say? Having traveled a fair bit in my life as a teacher, when we get those long summer vacations, there's nothing better than taking a trip abroad. And so I found myself very curious about what existed in other lands. And I looked at this penny and I thought, where did you go? What did you see? What did you hear? If you could speak, what would you say? And so that was one of the drivers behind it. And I think the second reason why I'm interested in history, memories, and scrapbooking and all of that is because I migrated from Trinidad to Canada about 17 years ago. I'm now a Canadian citizen, but I don't see my family and my relatives as often as I would like. And so I realized how important remembering the past is and keeping those things at the forefront, even for Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
I found that I just can wear poppy all year round if it's to say, let's keep the memory of the pennies alive.
So what sort of stories have you come across with the penny then? Does anything sort of stand out?
Yes, actually, one of the really important facts that I picked up from the news actually was that the 1936 dot cent is actually the most valuable Canadian penny. And I do have a picture of the 1936 dot cent in my short story book here. And it actually shows a tiny dot at the bottom of the coin, which indicates that it was a 1936 coin, but it was produced in 1937. And this particular specimen was auctioned in 2010 in New York City for over $400,000.
The Canadian penny was?
Yes, the Canadian penny. The 1936 dot cent is its name.
Wow. So I guess how many pennies, this might be a silly question, but how many pennies are there out there?
There would
in
be
terms of that you have in the book.
Okay, for the 1936 dot cent, there were only 3 known specimens at the time this article was written, which was in 2010. if people from then to now have surfaced with other pennies, it's not contained here, but I checked recently. I'm constantly checking to see if there is other news, and no one has brought up a 1936 dot cent or any other penny that is more valuable than that.
Wow, you obviously know a lot more about pennies than I guess the regular person would, right? Because you've done all your research. So what was the process sort of like having to start the books?
Well, first you must have an idea, and it's really important that we take an idea and run with it. And then in terms of writing a book, there are three important elements. One is narration or action, the second one is description, the third one is dialogue. So any good piece of writing includes these elements within it. And having been a teacher before, it was really important for me to have that educational factor. And one of my reviewers on Amazon.uk, she actually wrote that this was a book that persons who weren't interested in education should read because they are educated without realizing it. It was just written in such a manner that it holds the person's attention.
Where can we get these books? I understand you have book signings here in Yorkton.
I do. On Saturday, November 23rd, I'll be book signing at Coles Bookstore in Yorkton here, and at Chapters in Regina on November 30th, and from next Friday, the 15th through the 18th, I'll be in Saskatoon at Indigo, McNally Robinson, Coles Bookstores there, as well as CTV.
Wonderful. And are you able to order these books online?
Yes, you can order them from my website, www.susanharris.ca. They're available for order at any bookstore nationwide. Persons can ask the bookstore to contact the publisher for it if it's not in stock.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so very much.
Of course.
Yeah, so here we have the 1858 penny and the 2012 penny side by side.
Wow. That's all the time we have from here at CTV Yorkton. Let's take one last look at our sky cam before we go. Should be seeing around 2 to 4 centimeters of snow today and a high of 0. Tonight clearing in the evening, getting down to a low of -8. Cloudy on Saturday, a chance of flurries in the morning and a high of